Alright guys, I get asked a lot of questions on YouTube about how to take care of a bearded dragon. First off, I'm not a breeder. I guess you could say I'm pretty close to an expert. I know everything you need to know to take care of them and, live them to their longest lifespan. Pet shops are going to create a lot of stuff for you to just spend money. That's just what they want you to do. They want you to spend as much money as possible, and they want to, every time you go in there, you could have the perfect right set up and they'll tell you that you need to buy something else. That's just how most pet shops are. They're just going to keep telling you to do those kind of things. As you can see, my dragon is very healthy. Actually probably a little fat, but yeah, as you can see, the colors have come out very nicely. It looks very healthy. If your dragon is actually a dark color, you're probably doing something wrong. You may not be getting enough heat, it may not be getting enough veggies, and sometimes they just get dark like that to blend in, so you don't have to panic. Sometimes when I come out in the morning, she's really dark, but throughout the day they should be getting a nice big bright color like this, a nice big bright pretty color. I don't know how good the clarity is going to be after I post it to YouTube, but right now it's awesome. Alright, as far as feeding goes, start off with the powder. This is the best powder you can use. It's the Rip Cow. There goes a cricket right now. You can see how she's really alert, she's really fast, and she knows what's going on around her. She's looking around. That's really good. You definitely want your dragon to be alert. You don't want it sitting in one place looking at one object all day. That's obviously means you're doing something wrong. Okay, we're going to start out with the powder. This is the Rip Cow, calcium with vitamin D, ultra fine powder. First of all, and this is the Herptovite. Now, the reason these aren't mixed together is because, believe it or not, they're a powder, and they go bad after a while. These powders really do go bad after a while. That's why they're not mixed together in the factory for your convenience. Because I've heard of a lot of people just taking them, getting them, dumping them in a jar and mixing them up. You don't want to do that. Just take like a Dixie cup or something, take like a spoon, just, try to measure half and half, just dump it in there, mix it up, and give it to the lizard. It's pretty simple. Alright? And as far as fruits and veggies go, you can feed her or him anything between red bell peppers to parsley, say. Any kind of dark green is good, anything you can get them to eat. Just chop up a bunch of different fruit and bananas, and some of them are very picky, and which is better because you'll know what they like, because they'll pick certain things out of there. Right now that they're this size, they're going to eat some veggies, but not a lot. And actually right now that you want something that's going to taste. For example, a banana or a grape or something like that. Because when they get older, they're definitely going to eat a lot more greens than they are actual meat. So right now they're more into crickets, mealworms, and things like that. And as far as those kind of things go, you can feed them pretty much anything. And a lot of people ask me about things from outside, if they're safe. You cannot really say ever. But it is good to give them a different mixture of things. Feed it a grasshopper every now and then. And another thing is that the size... The rule between their eyes, don't feed them anything bigger than in between their eyes, is totally false. I really don't know. I haven't really measured their head, so I don't know if it's false or not. But whatever they're eating should be no bigger than 90% the size of their head or equal to the size of their head. Or you can feed them things that are much bigger than that, for say an anole. I can feed her about an anole that's probably 3 times the size of her head because she just ate one the other day from Petco. You definitely want a variety. It makes them a lot better. It makes them a lot healthier, and it gives them their, equal diet, like Special K for us, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, you just want to give them a nice big mix of food. But going back to the things outside, you can really never say what's safe and what isn't safe. They very well could catch a disease from something outside, but I don't hear of it happening very often. If you're going through your garden searching for grasshoppers and you didn't know that your parents used, some kind of pesticide outside in the garden, and you pick up something that's been, exposed to that pesticide, then you could very well hurt your dragon's immune system or something like that and make them sick and die. Just try to catch things that are outside that you think's free of all that kind of stuff, and you can pretty much feed them to them and feel safe about it. And that pretty much does it for the feeding. You can pretty much feed them anything that's 90% the size of their head. Right now she's getting super worms from Petco, which are pretty big. There's not many left in here because she hogs them down. This is what they look like. They will bite you. All they are is mealworms given a growth hormone. So they grow bigger and they don't turn into beetles, so you do not need to refrigerate them. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot more convenient than having worms in your fridge. And large crickets about the size of her head, which are pretty good, if you guys can see that. Alright, well that pretty much does it for the feeding. Alright guys, I'm going to go straight on, continue the video, and I'm going to go straight to heating, lighting, and substrate. Okay, now the bulb that I'm using to heat is called a mercury vapor. It's actually a pretty big bulb, pretty huge. It's a 160 watt bulb. It puts off a huge amount of UVA and UVB that your dragon's going to need. So you're definitely going to need some kind of bulb like that. There are a lot of different bulbs that work, but this bulb is definitely the best, and it's definitely the best pricing. You're going to save a lot of money on electricity using this bulb right here. It actually does take up a lot of electricity, but you're going to use a lot of other bulbs for UVA and UVB heating. This bulb is 160 watt. Like I said, it gets really hot in that cage, which is how you want to keep your dragon. As you can see, just like I told you, it has really pretty colors. It's looking really good, and else if I wasn't heating it right, it wouldn't look good. And you know, dragons are very smart. You should have about a 40-gallon cage, and 40-gallon is minimum for one dragon. A 40-gallon cage is minimum for one dragon. One adult dragon, a 40-gallon tank is pretty small. When she's full grown, she's probably going to be about as big as that log. When she climbs up and crawls on top of that log, she's probably going to be about as big as it. And this other light over here, it's a red light. It's a Inferno. It's what they call them. It's a 75 watt. It doesn't heat the cage much since it's so high up, but it does add a nice little heat in there. That's the cooling area. A lot of people use these bulbs at night to actually heat their cage because lizards actually can't see them. They have something in their eyes. But for bearded dragons, that's actually false. Bearded dragons have something in their eyes that can see it. The only two reptiles in the whole world that can really see this light are Komodo dragons and bearded dragons that they know of. And you're going to, so in other words, you're going to need to leave it off. A lot of people use a under tank heater for their bearded dragon at night. Actually, I don't use anything. I just turn off the lights at night, and sometimes, depending on how I feel, I'll give her 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night, which is pretty good. That's pretty essential for me. It works out pretty well. Okay, now let's go straight to the substrate so I can end this. The substrate looks like a hamster. You know, it kind of looks like something you'd use for a hamster or a gerbil, which is totally wrong. A lot of calcium sand and things like that will cause impaction for your dragon. This is the only thing that's actually proven 100% safe to them. It's a little bit more expensive. It's called T-Rex Desert Snow. You can order it on most websites and most other places. It's water soluble, which means if your dragon consumes prey while they're eating, it will actually dissolve in their system. So it's actually pretty safe to have that. You don't want them on any kind of sand or anything else like that. I guess the next safest thing would be carpet. Would be some kind of carpet in there. But yeah, that pretty much does it, guys. If you have any more questions, just ask me. I might even make another video. And another thing, guys, you should actually handle your dragon at least once a day or something like that. Spend a lot of time with them, because when they get huge, you definitely don't want them to not know who you are. You definitely want them to recognize you and, you know, be active when you get around them. You should actually never hand feed your dragon. It's actually pretty stupid. It's an easy way to get bitten. Most of the time they won't get you, but sometimes they're hungrier. She just bit the head off of it. Pretty nice. Again, those were superworms from Petco. And that's the bearded dragon. Thanks for watching, guys.